Deep in the misty hills of northern Thailand, there lies a forgotten house shrouded by banyan trees and choking vines. Locals whisper of strange noises and flickering lights at night. No one dares enter. It's said to be cursed home to restless souls from a tragedy long buried. But the strangest tale of all is about a white dog, pure as snow, wearing a conical hat and walking upright with a cane. He appears only twice a month, on the 1st and the 15th.
Teenagers from the nearby village, drunk on bravado, make a bet. They will spend a night in the haunted house on the next full moon, the 15th. They mock the tale of the white dog, calling it a silly superstition. But the oldest among them, Niran, remembers his grandfather whispering, "Do not laugh at the dog. He walks for the dead." At exactly midnight, the dog appears. He walks slowly from the forest, hat low over glowing eyes, cane tapping the stones. He says nothing, yet the air grows heavy. The dog pauses at the gate and stares at them. One girl screams, another faints, but Niran stays rooted, watching the dog bow slightly before vanishing. That night, Niran dreams of fire. The house burns, a family screams inside, and the white dog is chained in the corner, unable to help. His eyes weep blood. He whispers, "Set me free." Niran wakes in cold sweat, the scent of smoke still in his nose. Terrified, Niran visits a wandering forest monk. The monk, upon hearing the tale, grows pale. "That is no dog," he says. "That is a guardian cursed by karma. The house holds souls that can't move on. He guards them but suffers with them." Niran decides to return on the next 1st. Guided by the monk, he brings incense, candles, and relics to perform a freeing ritual. But as the ritual begins, the house fights back, doors slam. Spirits wail. Blood drips from the walls. The dog appears, eyes glowing, and silently helps Niran hold the barrier. A spiritual flame erupts in the house-cleansing fire. The spirits cry out as their pain burns away. The dog walks into the fire, cane tapping, hat glowing. He looks back once, bows, and disappears into the blaze. The house collapses. In the morning, nothing remains but ash and silence. But the forest feels lighter. Niran hears a soft bark in the wind. Every Mungwan and Rum villagers leave offerings at the site. No dog appears again, but flowers grow there now, bright and white like snow. Months later, a group of archaeologists hears rumors and comes to investigate the site. As they dig near the spot where the white flowers bloom, they find a hidden stone slab beneath it, a small grave. On it is carved, Kun Jia, the loyal one. No date, no further name. One of the archaeologists, Dr. Suda, takes the slab back to her lab. At night, she dreams of a woman screaming and the dog barking frantically. In the dream, the woman hides an ancient scroll under the floorboards. When Suda returns to the site and pries open old wood buried in soil, she finds it a cursed scroll, wrapped in faded silk. Opening the scroll releases something dark. Shadows move unnaturally. Mirrors crack. In the village, animals howl. The spirit of a long-dead sorcerer, once sealed in the house, begins to rise again. And once more, on the 15th, the sound of a cane tapping returns in the wind. The monk returns and reveals the deeper truth. The house once belonged to a royal healer who betrayed the king, using dark arts to cheat death. The white dog was his loyal companion, cursed alongside him when the villagers burned the house to seal the evil. Niran, now older and haunted by guilt, feels the call again. On the eve of another 15th, he dreams of the dog, its fur now graying, its eyes tired. "Help me end this," it says. He returns to the ruins, where shadows dance once more. He carries no weapons, only a single white lotus. Inside the phantom ruins, Niran is pulled into the spirit realm. He must walk through memories, the betrayal, the fire, the suffering. He faces the sorcerer's ghost, now a twisted shadow with dozens of eyes. The white dog limps beside him, ready for one final battle. Instead of fighting, Niran kneels and offers the lotus to the shadow. It hesitates. The dog speaks for the first time. "You were once a healer. heal now. The sorcerer's scream sand dissolves. All fades into light. The dog, now free, smiles and fades with the rising sun. Years pass. A shrine now stands where the house once was. Travelers speak of a white dog watching over them in the forest, no hat, no cane, just a silent guardian. On Mungwan and Ram, children say they see his paw prints in the dirtleways leading them home. At the edge of the shrine stands a lone tree with silver bark. Niran, now a monk himself, hears whispers beneath its branches during meditation. It speaks not in words, but memories fragments of villagers who perished in the fire. They are not angry, only lonely. A little girl named Molly wanders into the shrine one Moonless and gets lost in the forest. Night falls. Her parents search in panic. But just before dawn, Molly walks home safely, claiming the white dog with kind eyes walked with her and told her not to be afraid. In a local antique shop, a foreigner discovers a painting hidden behind a false wall. It depicts the haunted house, the sorcerer, and the dog butt. The eyes of the dog have been scratched out. That night, the man dreams of being chased by something limping behind him. Strange reports begin again. Villagers hear the tapping of a cane at midnight, always near places where people lie or hide their sins. It's not vengeful, it simply reminds. Those visited often repent, confess, or disappear for days before returning changed. A boy steals a golden temple bell as a dare. That night, the dog appears in his room not angry, just staring. The next morning, the bell is returned, and the boy places food at the shrine. From then on, he tells others. He's not a ghost, he's a reminder. Niran, now old and nearing death, returns to the shrine one last time. He speaks to the air. You stayed behind for us all. May you rest now. As he closes his eyes, a warm breeze brushes his cheek. And in the distance, the cane taps once, then falls silent forever. Villagers build a small temple called Wat Kun Jiao, named after the dog. Children leave rice and flowers at its base. Travelers report dreams of the white dog warning them of danger. Some say he's gone. Others say he never left, just waits silently. On a quiet Mungwan, the jungle is still. But deep within the mist, two soft paw prints appear on the ground. Then two more. No one is seen. Just the fading sound of tapping wood, and then silence. Until next time. On the night of the next ram, a traveler walks a forest path near the old shrine. Lost and frustrated, he curses aloud. Suddenly, fog rolls in cold and thick. From the mist steps a pale figure. A man with eyes like still water, and beside him, paw prints. But no dog. The next morning, villagers find a lantern left outside the shrine glowing with no flame. Inside is a folded parchment, a prayer written in an ancient dialect, Niran's handwriting. But Niran died years ago. At the bottom, a symbol, a dog's paw pressed into wax. Children playing near the silver tree say they hear singing from the earth. Not scary, but sad. They place candies and flowers at the base, and the sound fades. That night, their dreams are filled with warm fur, candlelight, and a cane tapping gently on the floor. An old woman with no name arrives at the village. She says nothing, just prays. Every Mungwan and Rum, she walks the jungle trail alone, leaves rice at the shrine, then disappears. Some say she is the sorcerer's descendant. Others say she's looking for the dog. At midnight, the temple bell rings 3 times, though no one touched it. Monks rush out, but find only fog and silence. On the ground, a perfect circle of paw prints surrounding the bell. One monk bows deeply and whispers, he's still watching. On a rare night without moon or stars, the jungle goes silent. Even the insects cease, then one soft bark, then another. The shrine flickers with blue flame. The dog appears briefly, made of light and mist, bows once, and turns away. This time, no cane, only peace. At a school near the village, a student writes an essay titled, "The White Dog I Dreamed of." The teacher tries to grade it, but the ink smudges every time only that page. When placed near a candle, the words shift on their own, rearranging into a poem that ends. Not gone, just quiet. A tourist snaps a picture of the shrine. Later, looking at the photo, she sees a shape clearer than a blur. A white dog mid-step, head turned slightly, as if acknowledging her. But no one saw it in person. She returns to leave flowers. The wind nudges her camera, clicking once on its own. One night, a monk lights a white candle for a lost traveler. As it burns, the wax begins to run red like tears. He prays silently. When he opens his eyes, the candle is untouched, still whole. Only the ground beneath it is damp, with muddy paw prints. Decades pass. The tale of the dog becomes myth, then memory, then silence. A new road bypasses the village. Tourists stop coming. The shrine fades into overgrowth. One day, a child born far away says in perfect time, "I remember the house. I was the dog." On the rare nights when two dogs howl in unison at midnight, villagers lock their doors. It's said that those who hear the second howl in their dreams will receive a message, sometimes a warning, sometimes a goodbye, and sometimes a request for help. It rains heavily during a lunar eclipse. But near the shrine, the raindrops rise instead of fall, floating gently upward like spirits. In the center of the clearing, villagers witness something impossible. The cane, standing on its own, glowing faintly, untouched by time. One final message is found, carved into a tree struck by lightning. "I was never just a dog. I was the debt you owed, paid in full." From that day forward, the jungle is quiet, the shrine decays. But no one forgets the feeling, the presence, as if someone kind still watches from the edge of the trees. A boy in the village, who has never heard the tale of the white dog, begins compulsively drawing the same image, the dog wearing a conical hat, holding a cane, standing amid a fiery forest. He doesn't know why. His mother burns the drawings, but by morning they reappear painted in mud. At the old village, well, water starts to boil but in reverse. Residents throw salt to expel evil spirits, but the well only turns darker. That night, the temple guardian sees the white dog sitting by the well's edge, looking down and crying. Late one night, the name Kun Jao, the true name of the white dog, appears burning on the temple roof. The villagers are terrified. The head monk collapses and upon awakening, whispers, "He's not at peace, because we never truly apologized." A young girl named Dao wanders into the forest to play and gets lost as night falls. Searchers find her sleeping by an ancient tree, surrounded by white dog paw prints, but no dog in sight. After returning home, Dao dreams of speaking with a walking dog beneath the silver bark tree. One night, she returns, and a dark silhouette looms behind Herbert. The dog materializes from mist to stand between them. The old cane, once used by the dog long missing suddenly, appears in the temple courtyard. Clean, unweathered. Anyone touching it hears soft tapping and a whisper. Soon, very soon. While cleaning the old altar, the head monk discovers a fossilized dog bone beneath the Buddha statue. It glows when Dao approaches. She bows, and it disintegrates into shimmering dust. On the full moon night, a fierce wind sweeps through the village. Suddenly, a dog's bark rings out, silencing the gale. Lights flicker out, and falling moonlight shatters like shards across the rice fields. During evening prayers, Dao suddenly mutters an old dialect that no one has spoken for centuries. The monks freeze. An elder begins to cry, remembers that was the funeral language used to seal the original curse. Dao sees a figure in her dream, a woman in white, holding a newborn baby. But the baby turns into ash, and the woman whispers, "He will not return until I forgive myself." The village river overflows under the full moon. But the water isn't water, it's tears. Dozens of ghostly faces drift across its surface. They don't scream, they stare. At the Ghost Festival, villagers release floating lanterns. But this year, all lanterns catch fire mid-air and fall. Only one lantern reaches the sky, Dao's placid. It forms the shape of a white dog. Dao follows Kun Jiao's paw prints to a misty hill no one dares climb. At the top, she finds dozens of dog bones arranged like a gate. The wind speaks. They were the first guardians. In the temple, an offering bowl turns black. Inside are two glowing dog eyes staring up. The monk tries to remove them, but they vanish into smoke and reappear at Dao's window. Dao picks a strange flower near the ruins of the haunted house. The moment she plucks it, red liquid drips from the stem like blood. The petals turn into teeth and fall. The bamboo forest behind the temple begins to whisper every night at midnight. If you stand still, it says your name and the name of the one you failed to save. Dao looks into the shrine mirror, but it no longer shows her face. It shows the white dog staring into her eyes from the other side. When she touches it, her hand turns cold as ice. The ancient cane of Kun Jiao, once floating upright in the courtyard, slowly sinks into the ground as if being pulled by unseen hands. That night, Dao dreams of drowning in silence. A stone wall behind the shrine starts pulsing like it's breathing. Dao touches it and hears tapping 3 knocks from within. A monk who sees this is so terrified, he never speaks again. The bell in the temple starts ringing, but not from above. The sound comes from beneath the floor. Dao kneels, placing her ear to the ground. She hears Kun Jiao's steps, but something else walks behind him. After a strange dream, Dao wakes with a glowing sigil on the sole of her foot, a circle, surrounded by 6 dog prints. The head monk gasps. She is the living gate. All temple statues, from Buddha to mythical beasts, start weeping clear tears. Dao sits in the courtyard, covering her ears as a voice booms in her mind. Don't open it. Not all have repented. The shrine mirror begins showing past lives Dao, in traditional robes, standing beside Kun Jiao. She isn't smiling, she's guarding something. The reflection turns and whispers, "You broke the cycle once. Can you do it again?" A patch of land where the cursed house once stood has never grown anything. Until now. White plants sprout, but only when Dao touches the soil. The moment she steps back, they fade. On the night of the full moon, no one casts a shadow, not people, not trees, not animals, except the white dog. His shadow has 3 heads and 6 legs. Dao is led into the jungle by a dream. Inside a massive hollow tree is a door made entirely of bleached bone, carved with symbols of guardian dogs and ancient spirits. Standing at the bone door, Dao speaks, but not in her own voice. "O you who remain, you who wait not for revenge, but for release, open now." It is the voice of Niran, an ancient monk who vanished a century ago. The bone door slowly creaks open. Inside is not darkness, but a luminous realm where spirits sit silently in meditation. In the center, Kun Jiao sleeps. When Dao steps in, he opens his eyes. Inside the light realm behind the bone door, Dao sees not just Kun Jiao, but a massive silhouette curled in the mist beyond him. A voice speaks in a forgotten dialect, echoing inside her. "I slept because they sang, but silence now reigns. Shall I rise again?" Dao begins to sing, though not in any human language. Her voice echoes with 7 tones. As she sings, the meditating spirits fade into lotus petals, but the dark mass shifts, not in pain, in interest. Kun Jiao speaks, not barking, not growling. A deep, weary voice. "I was not guardian, I was prisoner." He bows his head. Dao suddenly sees flashes of the past. Monks, sorcerers, villagers all, sacrificing something to keep the thing asleep, until someone stopped. Back in the real world, villagers attempt to burn the cursed tree once more. But no matter how hot the fire, it won't ignite. Instead, it begins to bleed. Black Sapand whisper a name. Dao. In her house, Dao looks into her mirror and sees herself staring back. But when she lifts her hand, the reflection doesn't follow. It speaks, "You are me when I failed. This time not." Then it shatters from both sides. Inside the bone door's world, the ancient shadow opens one eye massive, vertical, and filled with swirling constellations. All light in the realm bends toward it. Dao and Kun Jiao both fall to their knees. Outside, in the physical world, rain begins falling, but each drop screams. The sky weeps. Animals hide. The villagers chant in panic. Dao whispers from the shrine. He's waking, but he's not angry. He's hungry. Elders try to offer a chicken's blood to calm the entity. The blood turns into smoke before hitting the ground. Then, a paw print burns into the stone. A voice. No more animals. Bring memory. Dao sits under the silver tree, eyes closed, whispering old lullabies. The ground around her begins to crack not with destruction, but like an egg hatching. From it, light, laughter, crying all at once. For the first time since his death, Kun Jiao appears in physical form, not mist, not shadow, but real. White fur, trembling paws, and eyes full of mourning. He bows to Dao and says, "It must be you now." The ancient shadow finally speaks a name. Sathira. The monks gasp. It's not a demon. It's a forgotten godens worshipped for memory, now twisted by centuries of abandonment. Dao hears a whisper. If they forgot me, why should I let them live? Dao dreams of a river where the water is made entirely of faceless people who once lived, loved, and died in silence. Kun Jiao explains. Sathira feeds on what's forgotten. These are his food. In a hidden chamber beneath the Chua, monks find an ancient drum made from human skin, used in the original binding of Sathira. Its beat makes people remember forgotten grief. Dao strikes at once and sees her past lives all at once. At midnight, all the stars vanish for 6 seconds. No cloud, no wind, just darkness above. Dao senses it. Sathira is no longer trapped. Kun Jiao growls. He's in the breath of everyone who forgets. To stop Sathira, Dao must perform the ritual of unremembering, offer her happiest memory. She weeps, her memory, holding Kun Jiao as a puppy. She chants. The light dims. Kun Jiao licks her hand and turns to ash. After the ritual, the entire jungle falls silent. No wind, no birds. Time seems paused. Dao walks through the trees, and they bow not from breeze, but reverence. A crack splits open under the temple ruins. From within, Sathira's true mouth opens lined with tongues, each one speaking a different forgotten name. Dao stands still and says, "Then remember mine." Dao places the lotus into the mouth. Sathira freezes. The lotus blooms mid-air, releasing pure, white light, each petal a memory Dao gave up. The god shrinks, howling in pain. Dao's hair turns white. A new figure appears beside Dao Note Kun Jiao, but a boy with his eyes. He bows and says, "I walked with you long enough. May I walk as your brother now?" Dao nods and the wind returns. Above them, the clouds part not by wind, but by choice. The sky glows with old constellations, once erased from history. Sathira is sealed not by violence, but by memory. Dao whispers, "To be remembered is to be real." After the sealing of Sathira, the village changes. The trees bloom with white flowers. The air no longer tastes of ash. Children play near the shrine and see the boy with Kun Jiao's eyes. They laugh. He laughs back. Dao begins drawing again. Her drawings show constellations that no one remembers, but elders quietly weep, saying, "These were our ancestors' skies." Dao never learned them, but she always knew. A soft rain falls not heavy, not loud. When it stops, white sprouts grow wherever it touched. One grows from the center of the cursed house's ruins. Dao waters it. The boy helps. The oldest monk in the temple dreams of walking through the bone door. But instead of spirits, he sees a calm field of light, filled with animals and smiling souls. He passes peacefully that night, with a smile. The villagers hold a new holiday, not to ward off spirits, but to thank the one who protected them. They release white lanterns into the sky. Dao lights the last one. It glows brighter than the rest. A child claims the village dogs whisper when it rains. Dao smiles and says, "They always did. You're just ready now." The child nods. One of the dogs winks. The old mirror in the temple reflects no one anymore. Not even Dao. Only the jungle, blooming and alive. When asked why, she says, "Because now, no soul is trapped behind." Though the boy with Kun Jiao's eyes grows, villagers say they sometimes still see the dog walking at night white, old, proud. Dao only says, on the site of the cursed house, the villagers build a community library. The walls are white. Inside are stories true and old. Dao writes the last page. It's titled, "We Remember Now." The forest finally rests. Birds sing, No whispers, no crying winds. Trees no longer lean with pain. Just peace. Tao walks its edge and whispers, "Thank you for remembering us too." Tao returns to the bone door one last time. It is now smooth, silent, and closed. The boy asks, "Will it open again?" Tao replies, "Only if we forget." They place a white flower at its base. The lullaby once lost to time is now sung by children. No fear, no spirits, just melody. It echoes through the hills, and somewhere, deep in the earth, Sathira sleeps peacefully, no longer hungry. Tao grows older. The boy, now a teen, takes her place at the shrine. She watches, then disappears into the forest, hair silver, eyes shining. Her voice remains in the wind. They say a girl once walked between the worlds, and a dog guarded the door. They say every 1st and 15th night, a white pup walks the village edge. And when it stops to look at you, remember someone before it's too late. The final page is written in the village's library. The book closes. On its cover, the white dog in the forgotten house. A girl reads it and looks up. I think I remember him.